and welcome to Beaglington-On-Sea. Hello and welcome back to Beaglington-On-Sea. It's November, it's very cold in this room, but welcome to this latest episode where I'll be unboxing and looking at some new Triang stuff, or rather, old Triang stuff. I've got a bargain coach to look at, and, well, I'll be running trains. Yes, welcome back, and might I say a warm welcome to all the people who've subscribed, like a proper welcome to the people who've subscribed over the last couple of months, because I'm now up to 85 subscribers, which, you know, is fairly impressive for me, because I didn't think I would actually get that many. But thank you very much for subscribing, thank you very much for watching, so yeah, welcome. And in this episode I've got a few different sets of trains to run. But I'm going to start with my 2MT, which is number 46521 in BR green, and that's pulling some maroon Hornby Mk1s, or actually there's a Hornby or a Triang, there's two Lima ones that were in LMS livery but someone scratched out the LMS, and there's another coach as well. But we'll come to that later. And then I've also got Billy the 040, which is on a mixed train of green, brown and grey wagons. There's some Hornby, there's some Triang, and there's some Sandsprings rolling stock in there with the LSWR breakdown on the end. And on the middle line, I've got my Southern Black R1, which is a Doblo model. It's number 1174, and it's got some Doblo green Suburbans on. I'm not running it yet, so you can hear me talk. It's quite loud. So I'm going to run those, I'm going to film those a bit, and then we'll see what happens. It seems that the R1 has somewhat overheated, so I'm going to swap that out. Put that over there. I'm going to see now whether I can couple the pockets in the Dublin coaches. And we'll see now whether that seems to work. this section, so I will stop those now. And that's one stop. I didn't say Billy's the loudest thing here. There's the 2MT stopped, and the rescue packet is now stopped as well. So yes, I'm going to hand over to Alex over at the desk, and he's going to look at some new Triang items for the railway. Hello and welcome back to the desk. Thank you, Alex, for leading in. And so the first thing I've got to look at is this. It's not actually Triang, but it does have its genesis in Triang. It's the Hornby Railways CP Rail Switcher. And on the end of the box, it says R1553 CP Rail Diesel Switcher Loco de Manoeuvre. Because obviously this is CP Rail, which is Canadian Pacific, and they speak French in parts of Canada. And so this model is obviously based on the Triang switcher, and this version is under the Hornby banner, and it came out in 1971. This one could be from 71 or 73. Ooh. I've not had it out of the box yet. When it arrived, because I got it second hand on hands, when it arrived it was actually wrapped in cling film. And then inside, that was inside bubble wrap. So whoever had it before was obviously trying to keep it in the box because the plastic front of the box is damaged. It's in this awful cheap plastic tray that has cracked. And so I'm going to take it out now. And I want to be careful because it's actually damaged, which is why I managed to get it quite cheap. So it's got a little bit of damage at this end, which you could see in the box. It's not too bad. I might need to super glue the hand brake in place, but oh, and it's fallen out at the other end. So yes, I think some glue is going to be needed at some point. Let's see if I can get that back in. It's had some mistreatment in the past, I think. Well, I'll fix that another time. So, yes, it's a slightly battered model. It does have handrails down both sides. Let's get it into focus there. And they go through these sort of metal poles with holes in to keep it in place. And there are two screws on the top, presumably to hold the chassis in place. And it's got one of these sort of, I want to say Triang power bogies, and it does actually say Triang on the bottom, even though it's a Hornby product, according to the box. So that's interesting. I don't know what's happened there. And someone's obviously taken to weathering it. They've weathered the doors on the side of it, because I suppose they've got vents on or something, so maybe they thought they get dirty. I would have thought this vent here would have been the place, but and it's got a lovely, I think, I'll just check, it looks like it's metal, the horn on the top, which is quite nice. There's a big old hole there. I suppose you could fit a smoke generator if you wanted to underneath that. And there's a vent here which obviously doesn't have any fan detailing underneath it. So it's a fairly basic body shell, but it actually has some interesting details with the metal parts. And I'll have to get this bit fixed. And it has a hole there, and I know that the what's it called, the dock shunter, that had a light in it, but I don't know if just because it has it at either end, I don't know if it's going to have a light. I can't see anything in there. Kind of hard to tell. So yes, I've got that. It's got open axle boxes, but they appear to be in very good condition. It's nice and clean underneath. The wheels look clean. One or two hairs there, but other than that, it looks to be in really good condition. So that's an absolute bargain. And now I also have something which I had misplaced, and it's also Triang. It's the Triang Railways. Let's just move that bit over there. Triang Railways 235 Pulp Wood Car. Now, this model was out in 1960, and it was out pretty much every year up until 1970. So that's not bad going. It must have been pretty popular to be produced for that long. Trying to figure out which way the box goes up. There you go. And there it is. and they all had, as far as I'm aware, in this livery, the running number TR4415, and it's actually the usual Triang design. This is a flatbed, and these bits are additional to it, so you could actually get this flatbed as a different model without these and without this, and this load comes off as well, so you can run it empty, and you can also run it full, and it's hollow as well, so it's not going to upset the low central gravity on this flatbed, although there are no weights. And on the bottom it says Triang R234/235, so obviously this is the 235 model, and there must be a 234 wagon that is something different on the top. But yeah, it seems to be in very good condition, and this version has metal axles with plastic wheels and no open axle boxes, so it should run hopefully nice and smoothly behind the switcher. So I'm actually quite pleased with those. They'll make a nice hopefully ending to my transcontinental freight train, because I don't want to have too many wagons, but if I can get this to pull the wagons that I've got, I might be able to add another transcontinental wagon in future. But the problem being is that a lot of the time the axle boxes make it very difficult to pull the trains because they're not very free rolling. So I'll probably run that on the middle line, because that's Pico code 100, and that's, you know, pretty good for old chunky wheels, especially these. So and obviously the power bogie is a Triang one. So yeah, I'm gonna get those onto the railway. So for the first time, 1553 is on Beaglington-On-Sea, and when I said that this circuit was code 100, these two pieces of track aren't. So I'm going to run it that way because the handrail is still on the front. It's, well, on the back. It's come up on this end. So hopefully it works, because this is the trailing bogie. So we'll have to push that as well as pulling some other Triang things over here. So hopefully it works, but I've not tried it yet. I'm going to try it with my red knobbed Hornby controller, because that's more powerful than the HM2000. Weirdly. So this is going forwards. Well, it has some life, which is good, because I would have been really disappointed if it was dead. It seems to be a pretty good runner, even at a slower speed setting. A little bit jumpy. I'm not sure what that's about. Okay, so I'm going to couple it up to some wagons now. I've got a pulpwood wagon that I showed, I've got my Canadian National beef wagon, and my Triang stock. So that seems to be working quite well. I'm going to put my caboose on. It seems to be alright, but I'm worried that it's going to be too much of a load, because that means the rear two vehicles of this train are going to have open axle boxes, and they're not brilliant, so... Oh, wagons come up. Don't think that Canadian National one likes the stock car that much, to be honest. Yeah, that's a lot of drag. Pushing seems to be fine, but at the moment the caboose is a bit too difficult to pull. Get it disengaged there. I'll pop that down there, and let's see, we'll add this LSWR brake man to the end of the train and see what happens. Once we get the Canadian National back on. Oh, that's Lord of the Isles. And one thing I have noticed, which is very cool, is that there is actually a light in this end. There isn't in this end, so it's only in one end. Hopefully the bulb doesn't blow on my controllers, because I don't know how I'd get another one. But that's really cool, considering that the Class 47 I have over the other side of the layout for in a minute's running session doesn't have lights. This does, which is cool. So I'll run that past there, because on the inside one I have the Venerable Lord of the Isles, which Hornby now have their Victorian set out, which has Lord of the Isles very nicely redone with painted gauges and some Great Western terrestries. So I've managed to get a hold of a fairly dirty example of the Triang terrestry. Now this one is R332, I think. I'll just double check. Yeah, R332 Triang, made in England, it says on the bottom. So that's to match Lord of the Isles. But I have not yet got a brake coach. But the nice thing about this is that it is an example that doesn't have open axle boxes, which means hopefully it will run nicely with Lord of the Isles. Yes, it will. So it's going to look a bit strange with Lord of the Isles running around with just one coach, but that's what we're going to do. So I'll go back to viewing the front of the layout and show you the next running session. Right, well the weather's closing in a bit, so I'm hoping that the power's not going to go out, but we can now run the Triang stuff. I've got this container train set up along the front with 47727, that is the number, yes, of Edinburgh Castle, and then I'm going to have obviously Lord of the Isles on the inside line and the Canadian Pacific on the middle line. So I'm going to get those going. So first of all, we've got the relatively quiet Railroad Class 47. On the inside line, we have the also not too noisy Lord of the Isles with one coach. Okay, it's getting a bit noisy now. And let's see now with the CP Rail 1553 switcher. Right, let's go practice line and some go. rather noisy. But now I suppose it's time to hand over to myself again over at the desk, where I'm going to open up a bargain coach. Thank you, yes. Welcome back to the desk. I've got this. It's a brown box, a plain brown box, which has, somewhere on it, a sticker that says KB287 Kit Built. And this is something that I bought on the Hatton's Marketplace auction site, and it only cost me £1.50. Box. And somewhere amongst all this bubble wrap there is a coach. There we are. It's a rendition of the British Railways Mk1 in BR maroon with lining but no writing or emblems or numbers or any real detail, and that's because this is the coach from the Your Model Railway Village magazine thing, which was out 9 years ago, I think, which makes me feel old. And I have one of these on the railway already, but I decided I'd get another one to match it, and then eventually I could get some spray paint and spray paint the roofs a proper shade of grey, make them more opaque. And you can't put lights in these, because as far as I remember, when they pass by in front of the light, it shines through the plastic, so you'd have to sort of take it apart and paint the inside of the plastic. Now, there are probably videos on YouTube of how to improve these coaches, because, you know, as a basic starting point, you know, if you've got a super detailed Mk1 and you don't want to ruin it, you could buy one of these to test out, you know, inner detailing techniques, you know, how you're going to fit your passengers, fitting lighting, that sort of stuff. Of course, disassembly will be somewhat different, because, I mean, I have no idea how this thing comes apart. I've not looked it up. There is a screw on the bottom, but I don't know if that has anything to do with actually taking it apart. So the level of detail is, as I said, fairly basic. It has plastic axles. I assume they're original. I haven't checked my other one, but I would assume, you know, since this, when this came out, they were only, I think it was like £2 for the magazine. I might be wrong, but yeah, it's a very basic version of a Mk1, and it has a sort of, I think they're like a cam style coupling in that it can come out and move around. So I might be able to get the bogey off and see. I'm not entirely sure how the bogies are mounted. Nope. But if I hold it here and change the focus, you see now if you pull on this, it changes at the back here. You can see there's a hoop. So it must go around. So I think, is that a more of a Bachmann style of these, sort of based off of the old Bachmann Mk1, I don't know. But it does have a brown painted door at either end. So they're not the best runners, they're not the most detailed, but they can be picked up quite cheap. Although some people try to sell them for the same kind of price as, you know, a proper Mk1 coach, which they shouldn't really be regarded as, because they just, you know, are cheap. A problem I have on my other one, and I might have to sort it out on this one and the other one, is that the footsteppy things here are very pronounced. So unlike some of my other coaches, they catch on the platforms. So I have to be careful of that sometimes, because that does happen. So yes, that's a £1.50 Mk1 coach. And I'm going to add it into a train now and run the last trains of the episode. Yes, so here we are at the back of the railway, and I've got the Hornby Re-Railer that I think I've pretty much figured out how to use properly now. You just rest it on the track. I'm going to put the newly bought Mk1 there, and then my original one that I have here. That's the two of them on the railway and coupled up. So I should send them that way to the class 40, and then I'm going to stick this Triang, is it? No, it's a Hornby, but it's an old Hornby, a buffet coach, into the rig next. That's coupled up. Then this Lima former LMS Mk1 is going to go in next. train forward a bit. And then we have space for the brake coach. And this is mostly the same brake that was being pulled at the start of the episode. There we go. Right, I'll take the camera back round to the front of the railway and we can introduce the last set of things to run. Yes, right, well, with those coaches coupled on, I've got the Class 40 train ready to go. On the inside line, I've got my Bachmann Anniversary Thomas with a train of horse boxes. And on the middle line, I've got some coal wagons because my friend Larry asked if I could run the NCB brake van again. So I'm going to couple that up to here. What on earth is that? Who are you? How did you do that? I am the ghost of your Christmas future. Okay. Excellent. Did you work down? Don't touch me. You were in the paradox. Alright. Merry Christmas. Goodbye. Goodbye. Okay, I suppose I'll open this present. Okay, so that was very strange, but I have got this present now. And there is a tag, and it says grow it forward for some reason. And what does it say? It says, Alex, Merry Christmas. Lots of lovage. Please run your present to open the Christmas special this year. From Larry. Well, I suppose I can do that, but let's see now what it says. Inside, what could it be? Well, it's a Hornby model, a railroad model. Oh, it's the purple one, not so purple, it's the blue Percy, which says T. Brown Distilleries on it. And well, there's the thing there. It says R30038 Industrial Overall Locomotive T. Brown Distilleries. So to open this up, it's still in the old polystyrene chunk. There's some instructions here. Operating and maintenance. There's the D tank and the Holden tank and the Class 6 and the 0F. It does not feature a picture of the former Percy. And I have a Percy, I have a 1980s Percy. This is going to be interesting if I can get it out of the box. There we go. Just get you into focus. Wow. That is some difference. He has black painted running boards, which is nice. I know that the latter Percy had grey ones. He appears to be, whoever, covered in oil or grease or something. I'll have to see if I can remove that. That's very unusual. It's been resting on some sort of plastic, and well, I don't know, maybe some of the oil has got off because it's here. If you can see on the camera, it's here and up here. So I'll have to see if I can get some of that off. But it does. I can't see how it's got from the bottom to there. But yeah, I'll clean that off, and then I'm going to couple it up, and I'm going to see how it runs. Obviously, it's new, I assume. Doesn't look like it's been run very much if it isn't. There's a big old smudge up here as well. But thank you very much, Larry. That's a lovely Christmas present, and I will definitely run it at the start of the Christmas special. But it's got holes for vacuum pipes there, but no pipes. Bit odd. Anyways, tidy this mess up, and I will get T. Brown Distilleries onto a train. Well, there we go. I've got the blue Percy down behind Beaglington-On-Sea's cliffs. I think it's got a rather neat looking livery. It's a nice industrial thing, and it's nice to see Percy in northwestern blue with red stripes. Maybe he got tired of his green and his face. So let's just see now if it runs any better than my 1980s Percy. This is on the red knob controller. Oh yeah, got a bit of a bomb shuffle about it. Its bunker is wobbling side to side, but we'll get the rest of these going now and have the last little running session. Yes, well that was unexpected. Now it's time to run these trains. So off goes the Class 40 with its Mark 1s. It's a Lima model. It's rather mixed because we've got Lima at the front, Lima at the back, Hornby in the middle, and some magazine twaddle between the Hornby and the locomotive. And then of course we have Anniversary Thomas and the source boxes. Unfortunately, he's not too happy about that. Let's try taking out that old Pit Southern style one, and we'll see if we can get things right. There we go, he's running again now. Seem to have missed something with the Class 40 because it's now it's now pulling its train. It's decided it wanted to join the Lima end. I'll see if I can get that round to this side and then I'll fix it. Right, well there you go, it's just decided it wants to be on that end. And of course we have the blue Percy. I think it looks really good, especially with the NCD brake there. Right, let's go see them running. Right, well, I suppose I better stop these now. We'll go with stopping Thomas first because the source box has just come off, then T Brown, and then the Class 40. Actually, we'll just grab the Class 40 on it a bit because it's not quite in the right place now. It's got very dark outside, and I'm not sure the power's going to stay on. So I suppose we'll end the episode there. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to your continued support in watching my videos and the people that do comment. It's very nice. Don't forget that you can also like the videos and share them to your friends. And I'll be back in December with the bumper Xmas special edition of Beaglington-On-Sea, which hopefully will be lots of fun. I'll get lots of different things out and run them. It might be even longer than last year's, who knows. So thank you very much for watching, and don't forget you can also subscribe with the subscribe bubble thing, and there's also the playlist thing as well. But until next time, stay safe, and see you again here at Beaglington-On-Sea. Goodbye!